Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to talk about our exciting series History of World Cricket Part 4. If anyone missed Part 3 video I'll give in card, please check friends. Before we start the video, if anyone watched my channel without subscribe, please subscribe friends. Let's start the video. 20th century cricket. Growth of international cricket. The game of cricket was exported to other colonies around the world. The Imperial Cricket Conference was founded in 1909 with England, Australia and South Africa as the founder members. It had been set up with the Marylebone Cricket Club, the Australian Board of Control for International Cricket, and the South African Cricket Association as the original associations of the ICC. This aimed to regulate international cricket between the three sides, considered the only three of equal status at the time. In 1926, both New Zealand and the West Indies were admitted as members, allowing them to play Test cricket against the other sides. However, at this time in the West Indies, cricket was primarily dominated by the white population. Originally, the ICC was not interested in broadening the international popularity of cricket. The organization was reluctant to invite non-Commonwealth nations to play. New Zealand was restricted to play 3 Test matches. New Zealand and India both became Test-playing nations before World War II, and Pakistan joined soon afterwards in 1952. At the initial suggestion of Pakistan, the ICC was expanded to include non-Test playing countries from 1965, with associate members being admitted. At the same time, the organization changed its name to the International Cricket Conference. The first limited overs World Cups were played during the 1970s, and Sri Lanka became the first associate member to be raised to Test playing status in 1982. Because the ICC was predominantly a Western organization, the founding countries decided who was allowed to join the conference or engage in Test cricket. There was no desire or attempt to create a set of associate nations that would play in Test status, which is why countries such as Sri Lanka were not permitted to partake until the 1980s. The international game continued to grow with the introduction of affiliate member status in 1984. A level of membership designed for sides with less history of playing cricket. In 1989 the ICC renamed itself the International Cricket Council. Zimbabwe became full members in 1992 and Bangladesh in 2000 before Afghanistan and Ireland were both admitted as Test sides in 2018. Bringing the number of full members of the ICC to 12. Suspension of South Africa, 1970–1991. The greatest crisis to hit international cricket was brought about by apartheid, the South African policy of racial segregation. The situation began to crystallize after 1961 when South Africa left the Commonwealth of Nations, and so, under the rules of the day, its cricket board had to leave the International Cricket Conference, ICC. Cricket's opposition to apartheid intensified in 1968 with the cancellation of England's tour to South Africa by the South African authorities, due to the inclusion in the England team of Basil D'Oliveira, a Cape-coloured player. In 1970, the ICC members voted to suspend South Africa indefinitely from international cricket competition. Starved of top-level competition for its best players, the South African Cricket Board began funding so-called rebel tours, offering large sums of money for international players to form teams and tour South Africa. The ICC's response was to blacklist any rebel players who agreed to tour South Africa, banning them from officially sanctioned international cricket. As players were poorly remunerated during the 1970s, several accepted the offer to tour South Africa, particularly players getting towards the end of their careers for which a blacklisting would have little effect. The rebel tours continued into the 1980s, but then progress was made in South African politics and it became clear that apartheid was ending. South Africa, now a rainbow nation under Nelson Mandela, was welcomed back into international sport in 1991. World Series cricket. The money problems of top cricketers were also the root cause of another cricketing crisis that arose in 1977 when the Australian media magnate Kerry Packer fell out with the Australian Cricket Board over TV rights. Taking advantage of the low remuneration paid to players, Packer retaliated by signing several of the best players in the world to a privately run cricket league outside the structure of international cricket. World Series cricket hired some of the banned South African players and allowed them to show off their skills in an international arena against other world-class players. The schism lasted only until 1979 and the rebel players were allowed back into established international cricket, though many found that their national teams had moved on without them. Long-term results of World Series cricket have included the introduction of significantly higher player salaries and innovations such as colored kit and night games. Limited overs cricket. In the 1960s, English county teams began playing a version of cricket with games of only one innings each and a maximum number of overs per innings. Starting in 1963 as a knockout competition only, limited overs cricket grew in popularity and, in 1969, a national league was created which consequently caused a reduction in the number of matches in the county championship. The status of limited overs matches is governed by the official list of categorization. Although many traditional cricket fans objected to the shorter form of the game, limited overs cricket did have the advantage of delivering a result to spectators within a single day. It did improve cricket's appeal to younger or busier people and it did prove commercially successful. The first limited overs international match took place at Melbourne Cricket Ground in 1971 as a time filler after a test match had been abandoned because of heavy rain on the opening days. It was tried simply as an experiment and to give the players some exercise, but turned out to be immensely popular. Limited overs internationals, LOIRODI one-day internationals, have since grown to become a massively popular form of the game, especially for busy people who want to be able to see a whole match. The International Cricket Council reacted to this development by organising the first Cricket World Cup in England in 1975, with all the test-playing nations taking part. Analytic and graphic technology. Limited overs cricket increased television ratings for cricket coverage. Innovative techniques introduced in coverage of limited over matches were soon adopted for test coverage. The innovations included presentation of in-depth statistics and graphical analysis, placing miniature cameras in the stumps, multiple usage of cameras to provide shots from several locations around the ground, high-speed photography and computer graphics technology enabling television viewers to study the course of a delivery and help them understand an umpire's decision. In 1992, the use of a third umpire to adjudicate run-out appeals with television replays was introduced in the Test series between South Africa and India. The third umpire's duties have subsequently expanded to include decisions on other aspects of play such as stumpings, catches and boundaries. From 2011, the third umpire was being called upon to moderate review of umpires' decisions, including LBW, with the aid of virtual reality tracking technologies, for example, Hawkeye and Hotspot, though such measures still could not free some disputed decisions from heated controversy. 21st Century Cricket. In June 2001, the ICC introduced the Test Championship table and, in October 2002, a one-day international championship table. As indicated by ICC rankings, the various cricket formats have continued to be a major competitive sport in most former British Empire countries, notably the Indian subcontinent, and new participants including the Netherlands. In 2017, the number of countries with full ICC membership was increased to 12 by the addition of Afghanistan and Ireland. The ICC expanded its development program, aiming to produce more national teams capable of competing at the various formats. Development efforts are focused on African and Asian nations, and on the United States. In 2004, the ICC Intercontinental Cup brought first-class cricket to 12 nations, mostly for the first time. Cricket's newest innovation is 2020, essentially an evening entertainment. It has so far enjoyed enormous popularity and has attracted large attendances at matches as well as good TV audience ratings. The inaugural ICC 2020 World Cup tournament was held in 2007. The formation of 2020 leagues in India and the unofficial Indian Cricket League, which started in 2007, and the official Indian Premier League, starting in 2008. They raised much speculation in the cricketing press about their effect on the future of cricket. Formats shorter than T20 have also arisen at the domestic level, such as the T10 format, which is played in leagues organised by various associate and full members, as well as the 100-ball format, which is played in the 100, a major limited overs competition in England. Okay friends, this is the end video of this series. I will meet you in another exciting series. If you like my channel and video, please suggest to your friends and hit the like button. Be safe, be happy.